The hottest thing in tillage in recent years has been vertical till. Unlike a disc that cuts the residue and incorporates it in the soil, vertical tillage implements slice trash, leaving it on the field surface. But vertical till coulters are designed to penetrate the soil and eliminate compaction and thus prepare the field for planting. Now, the growing popularity of vertical tillage has a lot of farmers interested in this concept. And one way to buy into this technology is to go with a used implement. I came to Weeman Auction's huge consignment sale here in Marion, South Dakota, tracking down a Case IH Turbo 330. This is the widest Turbo 330 sold in the Case IH line. It features a narrow transport width and rolling baskets. Now, upon inspection, the implement appears to be in great shape with minor wear and no damage. Plus, the implement's rubber is in outstanding shape. I would say this implement was certainly well cared for and an ideal machine to buy. But what it's worth? Now there's the question to be answered. Let's go talk to auctioneer Derek Weeman about his thoughts on used tillage sales. Wow, you guys got a huge consignment sale here. How many times a year do you hold a consignment sale like this?
We hold 4 to 5 consignment events here per year. Usually try and keep them seasonal.
This sale was being held in August and it was huge. Do you always get these many machines coming in at this time of year?
We've always done first Wednesday of August, and that's kind of been traditionally our date for our auction. And it's traditionally our biggest auction that we do of the year. Usually have the most equipment on our August auctions.
Now, the 330 Turbo that we're tracking today is a vertical till machine. Is there more interest in this type of tillage equipment?
You know, the way things have been going in the last few years, you know, they're trying to go to less tillage, you know, possible less disruption of soil, you know, so these vertical tillage machines have become kind of a new wave coming in here as time has kind of progressed.
Now, if I'm buying a tractor or a combine, I kind of know what I'm looking for. Engine, powertrain, on a combine, the threshing mechanism. How do you inspect a piece of tillage equipment?
You know, tillage equipment really hasn't changed over the years. You still have the same concept behind your traditional discs and tillage items. You still have the same stress points, you know, weld points. Basically, a lot of that really hasn't changed over the years. You know, cracking and rewelding is kind of a huge portion. You know, structurally, you want to make sure they're sound. You know, if there's a weak point and there's been a weld, there's a good chance that either them welds are going to break or it's going to break right next to them.
And that also is an indication of how well cared a machine has been for too as well.
Yeah, you know, you can have two machines side by side and you could tell one that came off a fussy farm, a guy that took care of it and made sure that all the bearings were greased and that checked it on a daily basis, and then you could have one next to it that wasn't checked quite as often, and you'd more than likely be able to tell the difference.
Well, thanks for that information, Derek. Well, let's see what the 330 sells for.
32.5, 35. I'm at 32.5, now 35. I'm gonna buy 3, now 4, 5. I'm at 34, now 35. I'm gonna buy 34, 35, now 6. 35.5, Ben, you're out at 36,000. 36.5. I'm at 36,000, now 5. 36,000.
It's in here to be sold live. I got a last bid to
I got 36 with Ben, 36.5. I'm at 36,000, now 36,500. 36.5, 36.5, 36.5, and I have. Ben's weight was $36,000. 1179, the buyer, $36,000.
Well, bidding started out slow on this 330 Turbo, and it wasn't particularly fierce at first, but then it really picked up. In the end, it sold for $36,000. How does that compare to other implements? I tracked down 13 330 Turbos, which have sold since late last summer. These machines were selling between $29,000 to a high of $58,900. So the $36,000 this sold for was a solid price. But I noticed something in my research, and that was a 330 that sold in August in Washington State. I left it out of my averaging, and it sold for only $24,000. That was well outside the range of the other sales. I'm not sure what caused that, but it sounds to me like someone got a really good deal. And you could have grabbed that deal maker if you'd have been on the computer, as that implement sold online. Just another example of how online auctions have changed used machinery sales. I'll see you again next week on another Machinery Insider.